Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with CSIR NET GRF Chemical Science, June 2015, Part B, Series 2. Okay. Earlier, we completed 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20 question papers of both the sessions. So these are available in the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry, right? So here we are going to discuss about the different CSIR Chemical Science question papers. Being it is the standard question paper for all kind of entrance examinations and competitive exams as well, this kind of question paper discussion will help you for further preparation and intensive gathering of the subject. Okay, let us go with our topic. So now we are going to start with CSIR NET GRF Chemical Science, June 2015, Part B, Series 2. Earlier we completed, so in the previous session we completed, so Series 1 where question number 21 to 35 have been completed. Now we will discuss about question number 36 to 55 in this session, right? Let us start with question number 35, where Series 2 consists of question number 36 to 55. Let us start question number 36. The reaction of cobalt CN taken by H2O minus 2 plus X minus gives rise to COCN taken by X minus 2 plus H2O follows an. Okay. So here cobalt complex was given. This is added with a nucleophile. Further it turned into a nucleophilic substituted product. This is the simplest example for nucleophilic substitution. During this reaction, there is a resemblance with SN1 type of reaction where dissociative mechanism will be followed. We are taking cobalt hexacyanomonoaquo complex. It is treated with halide or any nucleophile. So initially, the compound which is present in the sphere will be dissociated, and being it is six-membered, 6 coordinated compound, it will be dissociated and converted into a descended one, that is a 5 coordinated compound formation is possible. This is the step called a dissociative mechanism where rate of the reaction depends directly, right? Later, this 5 coordinated cobalt complex now treated with nucleophile and nucleophile substituted product will be generated. This is the simplest mechanism which exactly resembles SN1 type where we have two-step mechanism. Here also two-step mechanism is there. Existing nucleophile will be discarded and a new nucleophile will be added in the next step, so that here dissociative mechanism will be followed here. That is mentioned in the option number 2. For question number 36, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 37. The correct statement on the effect of addition of aqueous HCl on the equilibrium is. Here we can clearly see that the starting compound is organic, where one terminal hydroxy, in either terminal carboxylic acid moieties are there. Whenever this compound involving internal cyclization by the elimination of water, there is a possibility of esterification, right? Whenever hydroxy functional group upon treating with carboxylic acid, the end product will be ester, right? So when amine treated with carboxylic acid, end product will be amide. So this is the fundamental condensation reaction, right? So here we have OH, COOH, so that it will be cyclized within the molecule by the water elimination. We will get cyclic lactone, right? This is a kind of esterification. During this esterification, if you are adding H plus, nothing but hydrochloric acid, so being it is a catalyst, acid catalyzed esterification is highly favorable, so that equilibrium will be shifted towards right hand side in this acidic condition, right? And the second is about ketone. Cyclic pentanone was given and it is treated with cyanide. Being it is a nucleophile, will add it to carbonylic center, so that addition product will be obtained. This is a kind of nucleophilic addition, and the product formed is called a cyanohydrin, right? So during this reaction, if we are adding HCl, being it is a reversible reaction, reactant to product, product to reactant, both the reactions are possible in a equal direction, equal amount. So if HCl is added, it will facilitate the reactant to product, so that reaction will be shifted toward product side and the equilibrium should be shifted towards right hand side. In both the cases, acid will facilitate the rate of reaction so that product formation will be raised. Equilibrium will be shifted towards right hand side in case A and B as well, right? That is provided in option number 1. For question number 37, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to this is about the reaction provided. We are taking two reactions where acid will facilitate the formation of corresponding products, right? So now let us move on to question number 38. It is a part of inorganic analytical spectroscopy, right? The compound that exhibit sharp band at 3300 and 2150 in the IR spectrum. So it clearly depicts that this is the terminal astellenic bond. Wherever C triple bond CH group is present, that will give these two characteristic peaks. How? Because 3300 corresponds to astellenic carbon with a terminal hydrogen, acidic hydrogen. That will be 3300. 2150 is a corresponding peak for carbon-carbon triple bond. So in compound 1, we have 1 butane, where terminal astellenic bond is there. This is only the correct option. When 2 butane was taken, there is a possibility of 2150, but the 3300 peak is absent in this. When butyronitrile was taken, here you can find the nitrile being it is a C triple bond N, it used to give 2200. This peak is correct, but 3300 peak is absent here. Butylamine, amine functional group, that will give peak at different region rather than these two, right? So this also not a correct answer. Only the suitable answer is 1 butane. Let us see that how 1 butane is represented. When we are taking 1 butane, 4 carbon chain with the terminal astellenic bond, where carbon-carbon triple bond will give stretching at 2150, carbon hydrogen stretching is at 3300 is possible. That is provided in option number 1. For question number 38, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to 39. The proton NMR spectrum of dilute solution of mixture of acetone and dichloromethane in CdCl3 called deuterated chloroform exists two singlets of 1:1 intensity. Molar ratio of acetone to dichloromethane in the solution is, what will be the molar ratio we have to predict? Proton NMR spectrum will correspond to number of set of equivalent protons. Here we can clearly observe that. So within the structure, we can clearly observe that this is called acetone, where we have CH3, C double bond was CH3. All 6 protons are present within the compound, and 6 protons being it is a symmetrical molecule, we can say all are identical, all are of one set only. So that this acetone will give only one singlet. When we observe the second compound mentioned in the problem, that is dichloromethane, where 2 hydrogen atoms are present in the central carbon, and these 2 hydrogens again are one set only, and it will give only one single peak for these 2 hydrogens. What they're asking for, in order to get the equal intensity of 1:1, so both should give the intensity of same. In order to get that, we have to equalize number of hydrogens. How many hydrogens are present in acetone? Acetone is associated with 6 hydrogens. Then dichloromethane associated with only 2 hydrogens. Then how can we equalize? If we are taking 1 mole of acetone, then in order to equalize the second compound, here two protons are there, and when it multiplied with 3, here also we will get 6 protons, so that 1:1 intensity can be achieved. For that purpose, if 1 mole of acetone was taken, we have to take 3 moles of this dichloromethane. This is called 1:3 molar ratio. This is called 1:3 molar ratio. So that is provided in option number 2. For question number 39, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 40. The intense band generally observed for carbonyl group in the IR spectrum is due to, right? So when we observe the IR spectrum, again it is a part of inorganic analytical spectroscopy, right? So when we observe the IR spectrum, the fundamental selection rule is change in the dipole moment. Whenever molecule possess dipole moment, then only IR active. Molecule non-dipole, that will be IR inactive. That is a driving force for IR spectrum of any compound. When we observe the carbonyl stretching, so that intense band is mainly due to change in the dipole moment. Greater the extent of dipole moment change, greater will be the intensity of the band. Being it is carbon triple bond O, it will give the higher change in the dipole moment during stretching, so that intensity will be extremely large, right? That is only the driving force. Greater the change in dipole, greater will be the intensity. When you observe any other parameter given in the problem called force constant doesn't show any effect on the carbonyl stretching, and intensity will not be impacted, rather than it will influence wave number. So Neubauer value can be influenced by this force constant. Okay, so this always intensity will be influenced by dipole moment. Force constant is influenced by this wave number, right? So for question number 40, dipole moment change due to carbonyl bond stretching is large. For question number 40, option number 4 is the correct answer. Let us move on to 41. It is the part of organic chemistry. The compound that shows the precipitate on warming with aqueous silver nitrate is. Silver nitrate is the solution which used to depict a halide group present in the compound. How? When we treat with any chlorinating compound or any chloro containing compound, silver chloride white precipitate will be formed. When we treat with any bromo compound, it will give the brown color precipitate as a silver bromide. When we treat with iodo compound, silver iodide will be formed. In this manner, silver nitrate test is a characteristic reaction for the identification of halo functional group present in the compound. But what we are asking, they are asking for where the precipitate formation is larger. All are halogenated compounds only. One is bromobenzene. Second is cyclopentadiene, 1-bromo-cyclopentadiene. Third is 1-bromo-cycloheptatriene. And this is called 4-bromopyridine. All these are the compounds of halogenated. Right now we are going to treat with silver nitrate where the rate of reaction, where the precipitate formation is higher. In order to get that, we have to go with where intermediate formed will be stable. Let us see chemical reactivity comparison. First, we are going to treat this bromobenzene with silver nitrate so that the silver bromide formation and phenyl carbocation origination is possible. Phenyl carbocation is highly unfavorable because charge delocalization is not at all possible. There is no conjugation with a cation and a double bond. Directly, double bonded carbon is having positive, so that it will be localized, it will be static. So that delocalization is not possible and become unstable. Let us move on to second option, where cyclopentene system was there with the bromo group. Treated with silver nitrate, silver bromide precipitate, and here the carbocation. Here you can clearly observe there is a conjugation. Positive charge is in conjugation with double bond. This double bond is in conjugation with any other double bond. So that there is a possibility of stability. It will become stable. It will become stable, but the compound generated is not anaromatic because it will not show 4n+2 pi electron system. Huckel aromaticity will not be satisfied, so that it will not be that extent stable. Stability is there, but not that extent. What we are expecting for. Let us move on to option number 3. In option number 3, we are taking cycloheptatriene system with a bromo functional group and treated with silver nitrate reagent. Upon treating, silver bromide formation, this is the precipitate what we are expecting, and in either carbocation will be generated. That carbocation is cycloheptatriene carbocation, which is familiarly known as tropylium cation. This is known as tropylium cation. When you observe the tropylium cation, it will satisfy all the rules of Huckel aromaticity. What are the rules? It should obey 4n+2 pi electron system. It should obey cyclic system. It should obey all the carbon should be sp2 hybridized, it should obey all the pi bonds should be in the conjugation. It should obey stability to the molecule. All are given, all are satisfied by this tropylium cation being it is aromatic, so that it will be more facilitated. Whenever the intermediate formed is highly stable, that reaction will be faster. So here the precipitation of silver bromide is faster because there is a possibility of attaining aromaticity after removal of this bromo. So the reaction will be faster. This is the exact answer what we are expecting for. And let us compare with another fourth option even, that is pyridine with a 4-bromo functional group. This is treated with silver nitrate. Again, there is a formation of silver bromide and carbocation. But this pyridine carbocation at fourth position is highly unfavorable. This just look like phenyl carbocation what we discussed in the option number 1, because this carbocation is localized and directly connected with the double bond without conjugation. So it will not be delocalized and it will not be stabilized. So only the option correct one is, say, a third one, that is tropylium cation generation, which will impart high stability. For question number 41, option number 3 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 42. The following reaction goes through. Here we are taking bicyclic ring system with COOAg, silver salt of carboxylate. Upon treating with bromine, what happens? The silver salt will be replaced with halogen functional group. Halogenated compound is generated. This is the reaction called Hans-Dicker reaction. Hans-Dicker reaction is conversion of silver carboxylate into halogenated compound by treating with halogen. And the mechanism purely proceeded with a free radical, where odd electron origination is possible through homolytic fission of the bond. Let us see detailed mechanism of this Hans-Dicker reaction. This is a kind of bicyclic system and having COOAg functional group 8 bridgehead carbon atom. Upon treating with bromo, what bromo group will do? It will abstract this Ag. Silver will be taken out with homolytic cleavage. Silver odd electron containing free radical will bind with bromine, so that AgBr will be discarded. And here is the formation of COO dot and Br dot. They will combine and the formation of OBr is possible, right? Now again, homolytic fission, and there is the origination of carboxylate free radical. So carboxylate free radical will be dissociated in such a manner, decarboxylation got carried. Upon decarboxylation, bridgehead carbon converted into free radical. Now bromination is possible and there is the origination of bromo functional group at this bridgehead carbon. Entire reaction proceeded with free radical, so that the reaction intermediate is free radical in this Hans-Dicker reaction. For question number 42, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 43. The most stable conformation for the following compound. So here is the cyclohexane system with the side chain allyl and methyl functional groups. Both are present in adjacent carbon atoms only. Okay, so all the forms of cyclohexane are, most probable forms are 4. One is chair form, twist boat form, and fourth one is half chair. These are the 4 possibilities of cyclohexane conformation. This is a part of stereochemistry where the stability of all the conformations are provided in such a order. Chair will be higher, twist boat, and the least will be imparted for half chair. This will be the stability order for cyclohexane conformations. Based on that fact, here are the 4 options. Last 2 options will be discarded, being these are boat and half chair. So we can discard these 2. Only the possibility is option number 1 or 2 where chair form is there, right? In option number 1, allyl group is oriented in the equatorial place, methyl group is in the axial place. In case of second one, allyl group is in equatorial, methyl group also equatorial. 1 to equatorial is cis. Always cis interactions are highly sterically strained, and here you can clearly observe methyl is being it is larger, allyl is still larger. There is a possibility of repulsive forces in between that are clearly depicted in the diagram I will show. Here is the system where methyl and allyl interactions will be there because both the bulky groups are oriented in the equatorial position, highly sterically strained. But when you take away this methyl from equatorial to axial, there is a separation. There is a separation between bulky groups so that steric strain will be minimized. So in this manner, we can clearly depict option number 1 where bulky groups are far apart, where allylic interaction will be minimized and repulsive forces will be minimized, so that option number 1 is the correct answer, right? For question number 43, option number 1 is the correct answer. And this is the energy profile diagram for chair boat, half boat and twist boat. Sorry, chair boat, twist boat, half chair conformations. These two ground level systems, both 0 kilocalories per mole, called chair forms, and these two upper peak level compounds where higher energy 10 kilocalories per mole imparted for half chair compound, where highly sterically unfavorable, and boat conformation with 6.5 kilocalories, which is the intermediate one. Twist boat is still lower energy, that is 5.5 kilocalories per mole, so that chair followed by twist boat followed by boat, and the least stability is imparted for half chair, that is purely based on their steric strain energy, right? So in this manner, for question number 43, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 44. Again, it is a part of organic chemistry. We are taking the major product formed in the following reaction. This is a cyclopentane, aldehyde on the one position, ketone is on another position, right? And it is treated with sodium borohydride, cerium trichloride, methanol, water. So in general, whenever sodium borohydride is given, being it is a mild reducing agent, whenever there is a compatibility between aldehyde and ketone both, selectively it will attach to aldehyde rather than ketone, and aldehyde will be transformed into primary hydroxy. That is the general trend. But along with sodium borohydride, we have another reagent, another catalyst called cerium trichloride. The combination of sodium borohydride with the cerium trichloride, this is a kind of named reaction called Luce reduction. This is a kind of chemoselective reduction which is given by Luce reduction. In Luce reduction, cerium plus 3 is a good Lewis acid, and it is highly selective for binding with a ketone rather than aldehyde. Okay, so generally aldehyde will be reduced, but in the presence of cerium trichloride, it will bind with this ketonic oxygen, so that electrophilicity and the carbon will be raised in case of ketone, and aldehyde rendered towards this kind of reduction. Sodium borohydride selectively bind with the ketone rather than aldehyde. In general, ketone being it is highly occupied, so that aldehyde is freely available, so that it will be reduced. But here is the chemoselective reaction with cerium trichloride. Sodium borohydride selectively reduce ketone rather than aldehyde in the presence of cerium trichloride. This is called a Luce reduction. So here is the corresponding secondary hydroxy reduced compound, right? So that secondary hydroxy reduced compound available in the option number 4, and the stereochemistry is also OH should be backside because all the bulky groups are towards the rear, so the cerium will attach it from the back end and the OH will be originated back end, indicated with dotted line. This is the exact stereochemistry also, right? For question number 44, option number 4 is the correct answer. It is a part of named reaction, right? Now let us move on to question number 45. Again, it is a part of stereochemistry. The correct relation between the following compounds, right? So this is a kind of cumulated double bond system called Alene system. If you clearly observe hydrogen chlorine HCOHMe, hydrogen chlorine HCHOMe will be there. Means identical functional groups are present, but orientation is different. Now we have to predict what is the relation between these two compounds. Enantiomers, diastereomers, homomers, constitutional isomers. What kind of relation is there? We have to predict. For that purpose, simply we can take the compound 1 and subject to 180 rotation, right? So just we are flipping the molecule, 180 rotation is carried, so that the terms present in right hand side will move left and left side will move right hand side, and this is the orientation. Means 180 rotation we are getting identical, we can simply say both are said to be homomers. If there is no change in its orientation, so 180 degrees is giving its a mirror reflection, so that it is said to be a homomeric pair. And one more factor is there in order to predict the relation, that is absolute configuration prediction, RS notations. Let us see. Compound 1 where OH is present in the right hand side, so that this is a chiral center. You can clearly say this is a chiral center, and chiral center we can assign the RS notation, so that RS notation can be assigned in such a manner: 2R4 is 5-chloropenta, 3-on diol, 2-ol, 3,4-di-in-2-ol is the IUPAC name of this one. And after 180 degrees degrees rotation, whatever isomer generated, that also resembles with the same absolute configuration. This clearly implies that both the isomers are said to be homomers, are identical in nature. For question number 45, option number 3 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 46. Again, it is a part of organic chemistry. The correct order of heat of hydrogenation for the following compounds. This is the system with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons, and here also 5 carbons, here also 5, here also. Number of carbons remain same in all the compounds, and each compound is associated with one of the olefinic double bond. Then we have to predict where heat of hydration is higher. What will be the order? For that purpose, heat of hydration inversely proportional to hyperconjugation. What is meant by hyperconjugation? Hyperconjugation is also known as no bond resonance. It is a kind of system whenever double bond is in conjugation with alpha hydrogens containing carbon. So those hydrogens will give the stability by the delocalization of sigma electrons. So this is an exceptional case. Pi electrons generally will delocalize, but alpha hydrogens with respect to double bond will participate in sigma bond electron delocalization. That is said to be a hyperconjugation. More the number of hyperconjugative structures, more will be the stability to the compound. Let us compare all the alpha hydrogens present in the compound. Number of alpha hydrogens is equal to number of hyperconjugative structures. More the number of hyperconjugations, more will be the stability. More the hyperconjugation, least will be the heat of hydration. That is the relation. First, let us predict alpha hydrogens. This is a terminal double bond, and here we have alpha hydrogens on this carbon. How many are there? Only 2. So in the compound number 1, alpha carbon containing only 2 alpha hydrogens. When we go with compound 2, here is the terminal methyl, olefinic double bond. Here is CH2 group. So here alpha carbon, here alpha carbon. So total 3 plus 2, 5 alpha hydrogens are there. When we go with this conformation, what is the difference between 2 and 3? 2 is the trans compound, 3 is the cis compound. But number of hydrogens remains same, 5 alpha hydrogens. Then how can we assign, how can we clear the ambiguity between cis and trans? Obviously, cis isomer will be more sterically strained when compared to trans. So cis will impart least stability, so that higher heat of hydration when compared to trans isomer. Even though same number of alpha hydrogens, another steric factor will play here, that is cis trans. Cis will be sterically strained, trans will be less strained. So trans is stable, cis is least stable. So in that way, heat of hydration for cis will be more compared to trans. Okay, and moreover, this last compound is associated with 9 alpha carbon atoms. Correspondingly, 9 alpha hydrogens are present. 9 alpha hydrogens impart 9 hyperconjugative structures, and it will be the stablest molecule among all 4. It will be the stablest, right? So if the stability is extremely larger, what about heat of hydration? heat of hydration will be lower. So for this compound, heat of hydration will be lower. And next is given to trans isomer. And the next is given to cis isomer. And higher heat of hydration is given for a compound with only 2 alpha hydrogens, being it is least stable one, right? So 1 is higher, followed by 3, followed by 2, and the least is given for 4. This is purely based on hyperconjugation. Heat of hydration inversely proportional to hyperconjugation, that is provided in option number 2. For question number 46, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 47. Among the following, correct statement about the ribose. It is a part of carbohydrate chemistry, right? Biomolecules. So ribose is the 5-carbon chain, polyhydroxy 5-carbon chain with aldehyde functional group. Okay, we can say it is aldopentose. It is called aldopentose. Now, this ribose when taken, what are the statements correct? On reduction with sodium borohydrate gives optically inactive product. Let us see whether it is correct or wrong. This is the structure of ribose where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. First carbon aldehyde, second carbon OH, 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 and terminal carbon is a primary hydroxy, right? 5-carbon chain it is. Now it's subjected to sodium borohydride reduction. Sodium borohydride selective for aldehyde reduction, right? So here aldehyde turned into primary hydroxy. Already we have so many hydroxy groups in this. We can put a vertical plane in this, horizontal plane in this molecule. When imaginary horizontal plane is bisecting the molecule into exactly equal halves, that is said to be a plane of symmetry. So in this molecule, this hypothetical line will cleave the molecule into 2 exact halves. That's why we can say the molecule is with plane of symmetry. If any symmetry element is there in the molecule, you can clearly conclude that the compound is optically inactive. No symmetry elements are there, then only optically active. Being it is symmetrical, plane of symmetry is there, you can say it is the optically inactive molecule. So sodium borohydride reduction will generate optically inactive is the correct statement only. Second statement, on reaction with methanolic HCl gives a furanoside. This is also the correct statement. When hydrochloric acid is treated in the presence of methanol solvent media, what happens? It will be cyclized, right? This first carbon and fourth carbon get cyclized and furanoside cyclic lactone will be generated. And this cyclic lactone is composed of 5-membered ring. 5-membered ring is clearly called furanose. Okay, so 5-membered ring with oxygen is called a furanose ring. So that HCl will generate such a cyclic product. Option number 2, that means statement number 2 is also correct one. On reaction with bromine calcium carbonate water, it gives optically inactive. This is the wrong statement. That reaction doesn't impart inactive compound. Last one, it gives the positive tolerance test, right? Let us see whether it is correct or wrong. What is tolerance test? Tolerance test is a characteristic reaction in order to distinguish aldehydes and ketones. When tolerance reagent is added, aldehyde will give silver mirror, ketone will not react with that, so that we can clearly assume the given compound is aldehyde if silver mirror is formed. What is tolerance reagent? Ammonical silver nitrate is called a tolerance reagent. It is the mild oxidizing agent which used to convert aldehyde into carboxylic acid, right? So that reaction is also possible because being it is an aldehydic system, it used to participate in tolerance reaction and a corresponding carboxylic acid will be generated called a ribonic acid. So tolerance test is positive for this one, right? Ammonical silver nitrate is said to be tolerance reagent. This also gives the positive test. So A is correct, B is correct, D is correct, C is wrong. A, B, D are provided in option number 1. For question number 47, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 48. Again, it is a part of organic chemistry. It is the system called coumarin, biogenetic precursor for the natural product amblyferone among the following. right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seventh position hydroxy. 7-hydroxycoumarin is called ambelliferone. It is a phytochemical extracted from the plant. What is the biogenetic precursor for this natural product ambelliferone? Biogenetic precursor in the sense, what will be the starting material from which we can start its biosynthetic pathway. This coumarin biosynthesis proceeded with shikimic acid pathway, where the starting material will be phenylalanine. This is the kind of alpha amino acid. Now it is treated with the enzyme called phenylalanine ammonia lysase. PAL stands for phenylalanine ammonium lysase enzyme, so that there is a origination of carbon-carbon double bond. Later, it will be hydroxylated and dihydroxylated and got cyclized. There is a formation of this ambelliferone as the final product. The starting material is a phenylalanine. Upon treating with PAL enzyme, it turned into a alpha beta unsaturated carboxylic acid called cinnamic acid, right? So these are the precursor compounds which are provided in cinnamic acid and L-phenylamine provided in B and D options. B and D are given in the option number 2. For question number 48, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 49. The number of signals in the C13 NMR spectrum of are 4-methylpentane-2-ol. This is a system with 5 carbon chain and 1 methyl, 1 hydroxy functional groups are present on this. So when we observe the C13 NMR, it purely depends upon number of set of carbon atoms present in the compound. How many set of carbon atoms are there? Methyl is 1 and this hydroxy carbon is second. This CH2 is another carbon. This CH carbon is another type. These two methyl groups are identical, can be regarded as of only one set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 set of carbons correspondingly 5 C13 peaks are possible. So for question number 49, option number 3 is the 5 peaks. Option number 3 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 50. The major product formed in the following reaction. It is a part of organic chemistry and we can say natural products. This is a compound called camphor. Substituted camphor compound was given. Now it is treated with sodium borohydride. Upon treating with sodium borohydride, we can clearly assume that sodium borohydride is selective for the reduction of carbonyl rather than ester. Here within the compound we have ester and carbonyl, both the groups. If lithium aluminum hydride was taken, being it is a strong reducing agent, that will reduce ester and carbonyl group as well. But in sodium borohydride, being it is mild reducing agent, it's selective for this ketonic reduction rather than ester. Ester will not be affected here. And what is the stereochemistry of this reduction? Sodium borohydride will attach from the front end. Hydride will be attached from the front end because already CO group is there. Being sodium borohydride is bulky in nature, always it will come in the least hindered side, so that OH will go to the equatorial position and hydride will attach to the axial position. This is a convenient way of reduction, so that is given in option number 4, right? Equatorial OH, axial hydride will be attached here, ester will not be impacted. That is clearly mentioned in option number 4. For question number 50, option number 4 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 51. The major product formed in the following reaction. This is a straight chain, long chain, carbon, hydrocarbon compound with 2 olefinic double bonds and subjected to heating. This is a kind of photochemistry question where straight chain alkane subjected with heating with a 2 olefinic double bond, it will participate in internal ene reaction. Within the molecule, 1 double bond, another double bond, both enes will be participate in the cyclization, so that corresponding product will be generated. This can be written in a synchronized form. How we are going to combine, how we are going to cyclize. In that manner, this ring, this straight chain can be oriented. Later, this double bond will be migrated. Terminal hydrogen will be shifted towards this terminal carbon. So hydrogen transfer is possible. And here the origination of carbocation deficiency will be generated. That will be compensated with this olefinic double bond, where here new carbon-carbon bond formation is possible with a 6-membered ring structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-membered ring will be generated. And in either terminal, we have olefinic double bond. That is clearly given in the option number. That is clearly given in the option number 1, right? So 6-membered ring system with 1 methyl side chain and 1 terminal olefinic double bond. So it is a kind of internal in reaction carried under thermal conditions. For question number 51, option number 1 is the correct answer. And this is the exact mechanism for this reaction. Now let us move on to question number 52. The major product formed in the following reaction. What is the product we have to depict? Here we have epoxide, methyl, ketone, and olefinic double bond on the another terminal. Again, it is a part of terpenoid chemistry, natural products. Now it is treated with hydrogen hydrochloride, triethylamine, acetonitrile, room temperature conditions. These are the bunch of reactions, the bunch of reagents which are selectively used in the named reaction called Wharton olefin synthesis, right? So this is the system. What is the system? Where ketonic epoxide is there. Ketonic epoxide, upon treating with hydrogen hydrochloride in the presence of triethylamine base and acetonitrile solvent, the reaction will be facilitated only at room temperature and leads to formation of allyl alcohol. The final product will be allyl alcohol. That is said to be a Wharton olefin synthesis. Wharton olefin synthesis, we require ketonic epoxide. The reagents will be hydrogen hydrochloride, triethylamine, acetonitrile. Allyl alcohol are given only in the option number 3, 4, so that 1, 2 will be discarded. Let us see how the mechanism will be followed and what will be the final product. Hydrogen is more hydrogen have more affinity towards this ketonic center, so it will be binded and condensed, so that here condensed product called hydrazone will be generated. This hydrazone participate in the delocalization of electrons, rearrangement within the molecule, and subsequently epoxide ring will be opened. Hydrogen will be pulled by base. We are using what base? Triethylamine, so that here the origination of negative charge. That negative charge will shifted towards nitrogen double bond. Existing double bond used to form a cyclic endocyclic ring double bond system, and epoxide ring opening is possible, being it is a 3-membered ring, more sterically strained one. So open chain molecule with OH, there is no change in the stereochemistry, because already epoxide backside, whenever it opened, OH will go back end only. And here we got NN double bond, and one of the double bond generated within the ring system. Now it will participate in deamination. Ammonia will be decomposed from this. Whenever ammonia is removed from this system, hydrogen will be added here, so that it turned into a allylic alcohol with OH and the back end. That is provided in option number 3. This is a reaction called Wharton olefin synthesis. For question number 52, option number 3 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 53. It is a part of supramolecular chemistry. These are called crown ethers. The magnitude of stability constant for K plus potassium positive ion complex for the following supramolecular host for the order. These 3 are the supramolecules. We can clearly say here we have oxygen, oxygen, nitrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, oxygen. In compound 2, 5 oxygens, 1 nitrogen. Compound 3, 4 oxygens, 2 sulfur atoms are there. What will be the affinity towards potassium? If higher extent of reaction, higher the rate of stability constant. So it is obvious that K plus is electron deficient. So obviously it will bind with more electronegative element. More electronegative element among the following is oxygen. Oxygen having stronger tendency to bind with potassium. Latter, nitrogen. Latter, sulfur. That's the reason why where oxygens are more. Option number B having more oxygens. So it will be reacted with potassium in the greater extent. So the stability constant for B will be higher. And the next level is for nitrogen. Being it is second level electronegative element, so that here it will bind in the next level and it's a stability constant in the second level. And sulfur being it is least electronegative, the binding tendency efficiency will be least, so that stability constant is also least for this compound number C. The order will be B followed by A followed by C. B, A, C provided in the option number A. So that is for question number 53, option number 1 is the correct answer. And the next question, anti-tubercular drug among the following is, okay, anti-tubercular is nothing but the drug which used to treat the tuberculosis disease. Tuberculosis is the disease caused by the bacteria and mainly used to infect the lungs. It is the lung infection disease. What kind of drug used for the treatment of this kind of tuberculosis disease? Salbutamol is called this is the chemical compound used for the treatment of asthma. Asthma is the respiratory syndrome where these air pipes becomes contracted and breathing becomes difficult. In that case, salbutamol will be very much efficient for free breathing, right? So this ethambutol is the selective reagent, selective drug for the anti-tuberculosis agent. The structure will be etham stands for eth means 2 carbons, but means 4 carbons. Eth with 2 butyl and 2 amino functional groups and hydroxy will be there. This is called ethambutol, which is a selective reagent for tuberculosis treatment. And one more reagent is given in option number C, isoniazid. Isoniazid is a pyridine ring with fourth position substitution of alpha ketohydrazine. Alpha ketohydrazine, this is the kind of reagent which used for tuberculosis treatment, being it is an antibiotic. Antibiotic is a drug which extracted from the microorganisms and used to kill any other microorganism. So it can be extracted from living organisms only, like bacteria only, and used to kill the bacteria causing this tuberculosis, right? So this is called isoniazid, being it is a tuberculosis drug. So we can use this also. Diazepam. Diazepam is the drug used for the depression, right? So among all the options, which are tuberculosis, ethambutol and isoniazid. Option number B, C, which are given in the 2. So for question number 54, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 55. This is the last question of the series. A particle is in a one-dimensional box with a potential V0 inside the box and infinite outside. An energy state corresponding to n is equal to 0. N is denoted with a quantum number. It is not allowed because n is equal to 0 is not allowed. Why? So because Schrodinger wave equation is given as psi x is equal to a sine kx plus b cos kx. This is the equation for Schrodinger wave function that is in accordance with quantum mechanics. So when we are taking this, if we are taking x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L, 2 dimensions we are taking. So if we are taking 2 dimensions, then psi will become 0. Psi will become 0. So here x is equal to 0, then a sine 0 will plus b cos 0 will happen. So that sine 0 is nothing but 0, cos 0 is nothing but 1. So if we substitute that, it will become psi is equal to a sine kl is equal to 0. Kl is equal to 0. So that's the reason why kl is equal to n pi, where n is nothing but 1, 2, 3. So n is a quantum number. It will not be 0. Always its values are integers. Always its values are integers only. So why it happened? Because the wave function in the box is 0 everywhere. Everywhere wave function becomes 0. So that is provided in option number 3. For question number 55, option number 3 is the correct answer. By this, we completed the series 2 of CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science, June 2015, Part B, Series 2. Thank you very much for your patience listening. Thank you, one and all.